Hello everyone, and welcome to the explanation part of this video. We are just going to go over this farm and how it works, basically. So, yeah, I guess let's get into it. Straight and concise. So, you might be wondering, okay, so, cool, we have this farm, but how do I use it? So, it's actually pretty simple. You just need to turn on the farm by flicking this lever. And there's some delay before these pistons activate, so it's super simple for the player to walk through. Don't mind that block, you can replace that with a fence gate or something. Grab a birch sapling, and then you just stand right here. Very simple, and it does not take much effort. As you can see, logs are coming through pretty easily. Yeah. So, if you even just go into free cam really quickly, as you can see, the wither cages are damaging. Everything's working. And, yeah. So, pretty simple. Not really much here to do. Alright, and you just stand right here, and then when you're done, you just go right here. If you replace that with a fence gate, which I should do, this is an older version of the farm, you basically just need to break this leaf and then you can jump out. Alright, so if you look at a 4-game tick farm, you might be wondering, okay, so how do 4-game tick farms work? The fastest double piston extender can only be like 6 game ticks, not 4 game ticks. So what's the deal? Well, when a piston retracts out of the 5x5 area, for example, if we have something like this and this piston's extended, when this piston retracts, it'll basically reset, and this would be like a 6 game tick DPE, right? So zero tick these two things, so when you extend this, these two would extend at the same game tick since it instantly moves along. So then when we retract it, you might be thinking, yeah, it retracts, but that would still block growth. Not necessarily. Because this block, so when this piston's extended, or when this piston's about to retract, this block right here, where this piston currently is when it retracts, is actually an air block. So when you retract this, a piston could technically grow right here and continue the harvest. So this could possibly be a 3-game tick farm. So you can get 3-game tick farms to work in 12. So if you zero tick this, and then like this, and then you zero tick, and then you retract, and then have bone meal dispensers firing. But the issue with bone meal dispensers is the same issue with every other 3-game tick farm. Well, I mean, the dispensers can't dispense bone meal any faster than 4 game ticks, and it would be completely useless to go any faster, since the player can only plant saplings every 4 game ticks anyways. And that's without an auto clicker. So yeah. It's pretty much useless. And then basically you just have one side alternating. So we have this side firing, and then when it retracts, this extends. And then there's a slight off chance while this is, basically, there's a certain interval where a tree can grow, and that is synced with this bone meal dispenser. So these dispensers fire earlier in the game tick than these pistons fire, if that makes sense. So that's how we get the bone meal dispenser synced. Not too hard. And that's like the main premise. Alright. Alright, you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, But how does the wiring work? Why does it work? So when you go right here and you power one of these things right here, as you can see, this immediately goes down, then fires back up randomly. And that's because down here we have this, like, weird piston chain thing. This is a way of creating block event delay to remove this piston back, or move this chain up here, which has observers, and it's just a basic zero-tick stack for observers. And that might look a little bit more complex than it needs to be. But we also have these two pistons right here, which is a concept Pineapplecake came up with for another farm that I won't mention. So when we basically zero-tick this piston first, which fires this and also fires this. And 3 game ticks later, when this column's coming back up, we power this, which basically just applies a zero-tick and retracts everything back again. Without refiring these pistons, which would block growth. So, yeah, basically, when we turn on the farm and turn on this clock, basically, this will fire, this clock will turn on, 3 game ticks later, clock for this piston will turn on, and 1 game tick before this piston, this observer clock turns on. So we can see the timings up here. So this fires immediately, pretty much. So let's see. This is, right here. 3, 5. So this is 10 game ticks after this fires. And this is 4, 8, and then 11 for other things, of course. So then 11, 14, and then this will start retracting, which is the odd delay for this piston. Right here for the retraction. So this piston right here would, basically this piston right here creates the odd delay, and then this piston right here creates the even delay, making it so this piston can fire every 4 game ticks or so. Making it extend, then 3 game ticks later it retracts, if that makes any sense at all. For the bottom section of the 4 game tick farms, there's an issue with these 2 pistons right here. You might look at these and think, oh yeah, the fastest these things can reset is like 6 game ticks, right? Because 0 tick, that's 3, then that's 0 tick again, right? But that's not true, because zero-ticking is a thing, of course. So if you remember when I was explaining the layout right here, and how this block turns to air, it's something similar, but not quite. So when this powers, it would zero-tick, then zero-tick. And if you looked inside the cinematic... Yeah, so if you looked inside the cinematic... Let me remove some of these, thank you. Yeah, if you looked inside the cinematic, you would know that you saw these 2 pistons fire at once. So in the same game tick that this fires, this is also firing, since this would immediately turn back to air. That gives a perfect time for it to zero-tick. Not in that order. Normally you'd have this piston fire, so if you have a log right here, you would fire, zero-tick that, and then the same game tick, this would start to retract. Later in the game tick, you would then zero-tick that. So you basically have 2 pistons going back and forth. In my case, I didn't want to have the block event delay so complex, so I have this system delayed, or power 1 game tick earlier than this system right here, which makes it a lot easier for me to wire. So that means this bottom section is about 4 game ticks instead of 3, which is the fastest possible. One thing though is right here. I did steal this from Kaylee and Land Mining's 4 game tick farms. It's a really nice system. If you turn this on, then it basically has these 2 pistons zero-tick this piston every 4 game ticks, and it's very useful. For many other reasons, since these pistons, like a piston facing like this, can't work and can't zero-tick if you just use a repeater. So if you guys didn't know, if you use an observer like this, and have a piston right here, then it works perfectly. If you can apply a zero-tick like this, as long as you have 1 piston of block event delay, like so. So as you can see, this zero-ticks pretty well, and powers. But if you want to do the same system going upwards, then you have the issue of when this repeater turns off, it updates this piston, which retracts it. And that's the issue. If you power it like this, then this doesn't apply a zero-tick. See, it doesn't apply a zero-tick because the pulse is too short. It would still work for droppers and sensors and things, it just wouldn't work for pistons, which is what we use it here for. So Kaylee and Land Mining came up with a system like this, and I just used it, because I think it's pretty clean. Okay. Let me turn this off, because it's annoying me. Alright. So, the log converters are pretty simple. Since you don't need a zero-tick either of these pistons right here, you just need to power these at the right timings. So when I power this piston right here, I need to make sure that this side right here is firing when I'm firing this piston, so these two pistons are synced. And then when this is firing, I need to make sure that this is also firing around the same time. Yeah, so basically when this is firing, this normal piston is firing. When this side is firing, then this piston right here is firing. Since you have this area right here, and these pistons are, stopping it from another line. And then that kind of gets this super nice shape right here for logs, which we can move inside the log converter, as you can tell. It's pretty easy, and there's not really much more you have to do. So, because you don't have to zero tick these, the fastest these can reset is obviously 3 game ticks, since it's the sync setter concept down here. But, another system works right here, which is 8 game ticks, which doesn't use any zero ticks, which makes it, like I said, pretty easy. So the wither cages are also pretty easy, and are also 1.16 compatible. So, you might be wondering, okay, 1.16 compatible wither cages, cool. So, what's so hard about 1.16 compatible wither cages? Well, the main issue with them is even if you have a block stream, you can't have a block stream on the foot level of the wither, otherwise the wither has a chance of escaping. I have no idea why, it makes absolutely no sense, but that's how Mojang works, I guess. So it's only on the foot level, so only on this level, and it collides with the wither. So if you hit F3B, then you can see the inside of the wither. So yeah, basically if a block gets right here, then the wither can escape. I have no idea why. By the way, don't mind command block, that was from when I was designing the farm. Yeah, as you can see, there's nothing inside of it. Alright, so, yeah. When you power these pistons right here, then these logs are basically moved in. And the fastest you can push in blocks is the same as my 16 game tick 2x2 Birch Tree Farm, which is once every 8 game ticks. The withers you can, basically, this block pushing system fires 2 to 3 times before these withers damage, because 20 is not a multiple of 8. So, yeah, we basically push one in, then, it still hasn't fired, push one in, still hasn't fired, push one in. That's game tick 24. Fires. Alright, let's see, 2 in, right, 2 in, fires. That makes sense. So, I don't know. Yeah. It takes around 5 pushes, 5 pushing in to get it to sync up with withers damaging, of course, because, 8 by 5, or 8 multiplied by 5 is 40, of course, obviously. So, yeah. So if I turn on the farm right here, if I quickly head down here and turn on the farm, you can see these withers fire, as you can see, start firing, and I just place a, place a trapdoor like right here, some things I can place logs. Yeah. So then this will demonstrate it every 4 game ticks, as you can see. So 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Get the idea. So it just alternates until it, here. Yeah, it just alternates until it gets to 40, and then it resets. So, yeah. I guess that's the math behind it. It's not too complex. Yeah. So, technically, in 1.15, this farm works with spruce. However, there's a chance that it might not return enough saplings. I think it will, though. And there will be an extra log right here with extra leaves and so on. So, yeah, you'll get less logs than, like, Fallen Breath's farm. But, I purposely made the log converters 8 high so it's able to deal with it. So, yeah. As high as these pistons go is as far as these, log converters work. Yeah. And there's 4 withers in total. One of them seems to have disappeared somehow. What? These are safe wither cages, trust me. I don't know what happened here. By the way, you do need arrows inside these dispensers, otherwise the wither can escape. Other than that, that's pretty much it. If you're going to build the farm, just know that you need to supply it with bone meal and stuff like that. And, of course, arrows for the withers if you only turn this on. And the farm is pretty fast, so I don't think you'll really need to bother a lot with restocking everything. You'll AFK it for one night and have plenty of logs. Like, yeah, plenty. Not as much as my spruce farm, but still. Plenty of birch logs anyways. Alright, and as you can see, the wiring could be looked at as complex anyways. But arguably 4 game tick farms are simpler than a lot of other tree farms. It's fast, yes, but it's very simple wiring. Like, it's just piston worms and lines with observers. If you're scared of observers, then don't build this farm. That's pretty much all I can say. Don't be scared by repeaters. By the way, don't mind this long chain of repeaters. It was annoying to get these withers right here timed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like. If you guys want more, please subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.